If you are a dentist entrepreneur, you are a member of a small but growing group of dentists committed to generating a successful managed group practice. Your personal vision to build, own, and manage a group practice is fueled by your own tenacity and courage. Until now, there has been no peer-to-peer network of dentist entrepreneurs. Dentists with similar issues and concerns, a group of equals to share and resolve not only business issues but personal issues, a place to more effectively learn corporate leadership and executive management. Enter the Dentist Entrepreneur Organization. Let's listen to Dr. Marc Cooper talk about the DEO.
They say in a rocket launch, it takes 90% of the energy in the first 11 inches. So I like to make sure that we take this thing off right. This program is something that I really want to do. Now, I don't know if you want to do it, but I know that I do. Now, I've been doing work in and around dentistry since 1966, and I've been through the metamorphosis from low-end solo practice to high-end, and now we're moving into the domain of group. I've worked with group not only in dentistry, but also in medicine and in other areas, including Fortune 500 companies. So I have a sense of what it takes to have a group work. It isn't about expanding your dental practice into more and more units of the same thing. That's not how it works. And if you attended the summit, you got a sense of the people in front of the room. There was something about them, besides the tactics and strategies they were using, that enabled them to produce that result in the universe. And that's what this course is about. I named this the Dentist Entrepreneur Organization for several reasons. One is that everybody on the call is declaring that they are an entrepreneur. And number two is that I think you need an organizational structure to be able to deliver the result. But it has a specific name because it's really about developing entrepreneurship and the capacity to take a vision and move it into reality. The first thing I want to ask you is to take a look at why you want to do this. The thing that I noticed about people who have very successful companies, they are extraordinarily passionate about what they do. And so one of the things that I'm asking is what they're bringing to the table is the passion about what they want to do, and not only for the dollars that can be made. I don't think the course will work for people who are strictly profit motivated. There are other courses that I'm sure will work for people, but this one particularly will not. This program is not going to be a how-to program. Now, I know that for many dentists, what they're looking for is the formula, the recipe, the tip, the prescription, the how-to. There will be how-to in this course, but I could take cabinet maker's tools and put it in my hands, and I ain't going to make a cabinet. So there's something about becoming a cabinet maker as the tools to use. The primary purpose of this program is to have the ability as a corporate leader and senior executive manager to generate a company that's going to be successful. So it's not just a how-to program. If you're looking solely for that, this is not the program for you. The DEO is about who you need to be to build a great company. It's about how you see the world. An entrepreneur that's successful sees the world in a different way, and I'll use the metaphor of a baseball player. Maybe there's someone on the phone that used to be a professional baseball player, but I certainly am not. If you've ever gone to a batting cage, you can set the speed of the pitch, and if I set the pitch at over 90 miles an hour, I don't even see the ball. However, if I put a professional baseball player in that batter's box, he will see the ball with home run written on it. So the actions you take in the world that you're about to enter into developing a significant corporate structure is going to be intensely driven by how you see the world. The job of this course is to give you a new pair of lenses to see the world. So the DEO is going to be focused a fair amount on who you are and who you need to be to build a great company. If you're just looking for an acceptable exit strategy, this is going to give me a way to get out with some dollars. That's why I'm doing it. I'm not going to recommend you register for this course. If you're looking for a way to get the best purchase price for your existing practices, because you think that's being a group is going to increase your EBITDA. That is true, but if you're doing it only for that reason, this program is not for you. If your dream is to get away from the chair and then only be doing it one day a year just to keep your hands in it, this program is not for you. I hear this a lot. I don't want to lose control, so I want to be in control. When you become a corporate leader and a corporate executive manager, you cannot use control. You have to learn influence. And you have to learn to work with people where you come to alignment and agreement, and control often produces the opposite result. And if you're saying, I can't wait to get HR because I don't want to deal with employees anymore, and won't it be great to be big, someone can handle all that, you're going to be handling that forever. And realize that you're going to be dealing with senior executives and maybe some directors, so please be clear if you're doing it for that reason, then this course probably won't be a good fit for you. And if your primary motive is to make money out of a deal, more than likely profit displaces passion. So the things that you'll find about successful entrepreneurs is they're extraordinarily passionate about what they do. The DEO is about building a great company and being a great leader. Right now you have a window of about 3 to 5 years, I'd say, before the big boys really start eating up more territory. If you take a look at Heartland, they're going to pick up another 150 this year. The Pacific is not too far behind them. But there is such room on this runway that a lot of planes can take off. But that will narrow over time. There's a lot of people beginning to play this game because capital investors, equity partners are coming in and increasing the velocity of change. So in this regard, you have a window. And if you can build a great company, then it will be sustainable, viable, and grow. And in order to do that, you need to be a great leader. And the DEO is about that. I know that you all want to do this. At some level, this is what you want to end up with. That will get done. So I'm going to repeat myself a few times. Repetition has some power. The DEO is about building a great company and being a great leader. So I like a small group of dentists who want to become successful corporate business leaders, and that's the purpose for the call. I believe that most of you, or all of you, that's what you want. You've got the grit, the vision, the tenacity, the ability to step into a void that's now available in the industry. And that's an entrepreneur. They see a space a certain business can occupy and be successful, and they're willing to take the risks and put themselves on the line to be able to make that happen. The name of our company is Mastery because we believe that mastery has a tremendous amount of power. There's a metaphor. There's an umpire convention in Miami, and this reporter, he's walking around and he sees Joe Schmo, Novus umpire, and he goes up to Joe and he says, Joe, how do you call a strike? And he says, if the ball passes through a plane between the outside of the plate and the armpit and the top of the knee of the batter, it's a strike. And he's on walking around and he sees one that says journeyman umpire, and he says, how do you call a strike? And he says, I calls them as I see them. And then he sees one guy with a nameplate that says master umpire, and it says, how do you call a strike? And the master umpire says, it's nothing till I call it. So a master is able to say a future and make that future happen. So the intention of the course is to give you the capacity to become masterful at that. We are looking for dentists who are vision-driven, and we will spend time on vision in the program. I think people misinterpret it and don't understand how to design or generate a vision that really thrives. We're looking for people who are going to be purposeful, purposely driven, can stay on purpose, keep their staff, their mind, themselves on purpose. And now the way we define mission is has a beginning, middle, and an end, so we want to make sure that your strategic plan is mission-focused. I know that most people, if not all the people on the call, have these as core values. Primary fuel for your engine are going to be your values, and one of the first exercises you do in the program is to not only articulate your values, but declare your values and define your values. And then this is a very important point for me, and one that I'd like you to thoughtfully consider. In my experience, and again, it's just my experience, I've worked with a couple pretty significant CEOs of major companies. And there's things I learned from my clients. Probably I learned more from them than I actually learned anywhere else. And one of the things I always saw about the CEOs that were really successful is they really understood themselves. They saw their reflexes before they happened. They were able to discern their usually unconscious way of acting so that they could make new choices that were more powerful. And how one does that is through self-examination. One of the major thrusts is for people to understand what makes them tick. So when stuff happens, which it will because we are in life, rather than taking the automatic, already, always way of doing something, they are more considered and more capable of handling it more effectively. So some of the course is going to be about examining yourself and why you do the things you do and why some of them work and some of them don't. When you can see yourself before you act and be able to make conscious, effective choices, that's where the power lives. When you can see a certain thing you're about to do that's going to really screw it up and stop yourself before you do it, that's where the power lives. So the DEO is about building a great company and being a great leader. And in order to be a great leader, you need to be conscious of yourself and what makes you tick and why you do the things you do. So let's talk about the course itself. The intention of the course is to develop you as leaders and executives through self-examination, a process called inquiry, and peer-to-peer interaction. Now, peer-to-peer is not something that you usually do. You go to study clubs and you are collegial, which is different than peer-to-peer. Or you go to conferences and you see friends that you went to dental school with and you hang out with them. That is not peer-to-peer. See, a peer-to-peer organization is willing to be ruthless with each other to make sure that they produce the result. So a peer, in this particular context, is someone who can see you better than you can see yourself and give you feedback under certain guiding principles, which you'll see in the course. You have to comment to people in a particular way. You can't be a hammer. So they can see themselves so that they can make changes that will have them be more effective. So this is a peer-to-peer group. Now, there are numbers of models out there of peer-to-peer groups. The one that I'm most familiar with is the Young Presidents Organization. It started 30 years ago and has over 30,000 members. And it's peer-to-peer. But there are others out there that are a bunch of CEOs that get together and they do the same thing. I think that what is totally missing to move this thing with greater velocity is peer-to-peer interaction. If we had that, many of the folks on this call would be able to glean such information from each other, resolve problems at a higher velocity, and produce far better results. So there will be a formal peer group with whom you're going to be interacting. You're going to be sharing, and sharing is not reporting. So I want to make that very clear. Most of you report. You don't share. You're unable to express yourself at a level that will allow you to say something so that you have it, it doesn't have you. You will learn that capacity. My promise, actually, is that the program will produce in you a certain level of leadership that's extraordinarily potent, and you'll be able to be an effective senior manager. Okay, so the purpose of the DEO is to provide a peer-to-peer, well-managed organizational structure. That's Chris and I and other people. The DEO will provide education, training, development, and support to enhance your ability to lead, manage, and govern a significant dental enterprise. Applicants need to have some proof that you're able to do this, that you've done a practice 2 or 3 or 5 or 10, whatever you're coming in with. You also have to come in with the understanding that who you are is equally, if not more important than what you do or what you know. You are the cause of why things are happening, and you are the one that is going to have to make the changes. You're the one that's going to have to lead this organization. If I look at your CE or the books that you've read or the articles or the courses that you've done, I would see that you have a thirst for training and development. You don't just read the newspaper and hang out on Facebook. And that you're open for coaching, and that you're open from coaching not from just me, but from advisors and most importantly each other. that you're willing to listen to each other. You're going to have to adjust yourself to self-examination and self-discovery. Some of you are already engaged with that. Some of you have even done trainings about that. But as a group, we are going to go through a self-discovery process. I want to work with people that I can count on, and so integrity is a very big thing for me. And I don't mean integrity as a moral issue, but integrity as the dictionary defines it, which is whole, complete, nothing left out. And that means that when you give your word, you are your word. You honor your word. Now, I know that you will make promises, and because you are in business, things will happen that will interfere with your ability to deliver on what you say. At that point, what I mean by integrity is honor your word. In other words, if you said you'd do something and you can't do it, to whom you've made that promise, you would call and let them know that you cannot deliver and remake your promise. I want you to honor what you say. I want you to be your word in action. Of all the business books that you'll be reading, they'll all say basically the same thing, that leaders are authentic. And that means there's no pretense, there's no hypocrisy. You just lay it out there. You are who you are. You're not going for the vote. You've already won the election. You are just yourself as fully as can be. When I go to dental conferences, I find dentists put on airs and they kind of make stuff up about their success. They are inauthentic. I'm looking for people that can be responsible, and by responsibility, my definition is holding oneself as cause in the matter. In other words, who you are is the reason it's happening out there. I'm responsible. The opposite of responsibility is blame or fault. If you're blaming others for the way it is, if you're faulting others for the way it is, that is the antithesis of responsibility. And I'd like people to be in the program because they're up to make a large difference. I'd like them to leave a legacy, to make a dent in the universe. But there will be ground rules in this course, and the thing that we will ask you to do is to honor the ground rules. We're looking at the dynamic of the group, and what we see is that the group should not exceed 12 members. We're going to meet 3 times a year, some reasonably nice places where you guys can relax, enjoy yourselves in the physical environment, and be able to spend time with each other, because that's going to be the most critical piece, is your peer-to-peer relationship. By the way, if you look at Young Presidents Organization, some of those groups have been in existence for over 30 years. So you will get really tight with each other. Each of the meetings is going to be 2 days, and they will be preceded the evening before by a dinner. And the dinner is not just social to have a couple glasses of wine and kibitz. It actually has a purpose about getting to know each other at a more deep level, have a greater level of affinity, kinship, and affection for each other. We're going to sign a non-disclosure agreement, and I know that they rarely get litigated, and I understand that, but there will be ground rules about confidentiality that we will also be signing off on. The first year, I will be facilitating. I will be speaking with people every other month for a 30-minute coaching call, but it's really an informed call. I just want to find out what's going on in your enterprise, what are the problems that you're facing, what are the issues that are arising, so that I can have a sense of what I need to bring to the course. All right, so session 1 out of the 3 sessions is setting up the group. And then we're going to be working on leadership. And I have a specific methodology and process of working on leadership. And every time you are together, we are going to be doing case presentations. This is what they use in business schools. So members are going to present their practice, their business, and how they're doing it. And there'll be a way to comment, there'll be a way to coach, there'll be opportunities to do all of that, but you'll need to prepare PowerPoints to present. Case presentation, that's one of the ways we will learn from each other. And each of the sessions will have case presentations. Session 2 is about building and sustaining a high-performance culture. Culture is king. We are going to work on the tools you can use to have your culture become high performance, reduce conflict, upset, and generate better affinity and acknowledgement within your culture. We're going to come up with a dashboard that you mutually agree is acceptable to all the peers. We'll have a private place to put it, but every month you post your results. So the group gets to see your results. And there's areas that you will make promises in to improve, And those promises will also be listed. And so you will have your current report and you will have your promises. And the group gets to see that, as we progress at these meetings, and we'll see a dramatic improvement, because in business and life you get what you focus on, and whatever you measure you focus on. So there'll be immediate impact. And again, in session 2 we'll be doing case presentations. Session 3 is about management. And in the beginning of the call I said you can't do management by control. And most of you got to your level of success by that. But when you bring on executives such as a COO or CFO or HR or marketing or facility manager, however big you get, you cannot manage that way. You have to manage by influence and by consensus, and we have to develop that muscle to be able to do that efficiently, because it's not a democracy either. And then we need to talk about where you are, about how to get the right people on the bus here with you. So it's about recruiting and hiring and sustaining those people. And then finally, case presentations. So that is the first year we intend to do. There's going to be homework. There'll be books to read. There'll be few, they won't be very arduous articles. There'll be some videos to watch, TED videos, and there certainly will be some audios. So you will be learning and having an educational process at the same time you're going through the program. And we are going to make sure that each one of you is going to be doing a strategic plan. Some of you already have strategic plans in place. Some of you do not. Some of what you have is a business plan, which is not quite a strategic plan. So by the end of session 2, at the case presentations, you will be presenting your strategic plans. And these strategic plans should be updated or upgraded once a year. And since they will be done on PowerPoint, it will not be hard to edit these things as you go through them. All right, so year 2 and beyond, if you decide to go on as a group, and I would believe if I get this done right, you will, you can do whatever you want to do. I know that some of the young presidents' organizations, they have done balloon rides, and they have done wine country, and they've also had courses. So you guys can choose your own agenda. I will always be available for counsel. But by the time you get to this point, you ought to be fairly autonomous. So the program costs $8.95 per month. Your first payment is your deposit, and it's not refundable. Your direct costs, that means transportation to and from your hotel room, lunches and evening meals will be on you, except there will be a continental breakfast at every one of them, and the dinner the evening before will be covered by your membership fee. If you decide to go on, and again, that's my intent, is that you pay $1,500 for the year. That will cover all administrative costs, and we intend to have an annual conference of all the DEO chapters. We're looking at these dates as the first dates to have our meeting, and we're looking at Scottsdale because it's a central location, but we're looking at the evening of the 17th and the day of the 18th and the 19th. And again, we're going to look at limiting it for 12. Okay, so would you call on a couple people, Chris, if they have any questions or concerns?
So I like the peer-to-peer component, because that's something that I feel like is really missing for me right now. So I'm excited about that option. Already working with Dr. Cooper, so maybe some conversation with him about how I would coordinate what I'm already doing with this program, but it doesn't seem like that would be a particularly a problem.
No, I mean, people who have coaching contracts with me can, my dream, and this, I shouldn't even say this, is that you don't need me. That your group, if it is well done, and I teach you how to coach, and I teach you how to talk to each other in such a way that you produce results for each other, should become pretty self-sufficient. And that will be my legacy. Because you guys should be able to kick the ass out of this thing. I mean, there's so much resource available out there. You put 12 people with minds like yours and really work together and figure this thing out and share information openly and honestly. It's going to be good. It's going to be really good. So, Gregory Sawyer, are you the Gregory Sawyer I remember from Reno, Nevada? I had a guy 10, 15 years ago named Gregory Sawyer who had a practice, and he used to come to my Reno group. You're not the same Greg Sawyer, are you?
No, he had long gray hair down his back and rides a Harley around.
That's him. How'd you know him? Okay, well, now you know what kind of clients I used to work with. So, Greg, what have you seen out of this presentation tonight, and how does it land for you?
How it lands for me is very interested. It's something I've been thinking about a lot since the meeting in Arizona. I've actually done a few things to consider lining up, and I'm thinking this would, just being connected to people that are doing these kinds of things is really valuable.
Exactly what I saw as well. Thanks. Let's call one more guy and I'll let you guys go drink your wine and have your dinner. Florida boy, okay.
That's right. Actually, that was one of my questions was, we don't know, I don't know where any of these guys are located, but would you, group anything by geography? I mean,
great question. We're going to see how many people register. We have an economic line that we have to meet by doing all this, and we think if we have enough, we can do East and West Coast. If you could have a meeting in Florida. Where in Florida are you at?
I'm in Boca Raton.
No one's going to complain about Boca Raton.
Yeah, you can go to Miami.
How did this feel for you tonight? How did it feel, look to you tonight?
It sounds really interesting. I have a partner, who's my brother. You've talked to him on the phone before. Something like this, I think I'd probably have to do with him. I don't think you can do this on your, without your business partner.
You can't. If you have a partner who's an equal partner, because you have to come up with aligned vision, mission, purpose. You have to have a strategic plan that you both agree on. You have to have your milestones clearly defined. And you have to speak the same language, which is not familial language, by the way. It's business language. And so being brothers does not make it easy, but it's certainly important.
So we do have a mission, vision, values already. It seems like the purpose of the course is much more than just setting up your mission, vision, values, right? That's kind of stage one, and then that's kind of, all right, we did that, now let's really focus on,
It's interesting, Sue. Just the language that you just used, we did that, means that you haven't done it yet.
Okay. Okay.
You're going to get me into the course already.
Right.
It all occurs in language. And so when people say, well, I have my vision statement, that's what they've got is a vision statement. It's not a vision. It's like talking about sex and sex. It ain't the same thing. There's a big difference. And when you're around Howard Schultz, or you're around, it doesn't matter. They are the vision personified. They speak vision and tell vision stories. Because a vision is a certain language. It's a language of the future. It's a language that has a certain passion to it and a possibility to it, and it gets people charged. And your job as a leader is charge people. So it doesn't live in a textbook somewhere. Anyway, and you're going to have to be in front of people delivering your vision, and so you have peer-to-peer, and if they don't get it, that this is your team. They don't want you on the court unless you are that vision in action. So they'll be coaching from your peers, believe me. You need to have a sacred environment in which people at the same position as you aren't going to let you get away with it. And, if we all had that, and we will have that, that's going to make the biggest difference.
I was just kind of curious, with the entrepreneur organization, there are 3 meetings per year. Are we also chatting monthly or at even more pace and things like that? Or is that something we just decide as our group? Or
I'm having a call with each one of you individually every other month. And so I'm going to stick my nose in it. And I will get what I need to get in terms of course design and what's going on. I'm going to recommend that you get your own freeconferencecall.com number like the one you're using tonight and have monthly calls. By session 2, you're going to be sharing numbers. You're going to be talking about your problems and your issues and your concerns. And I'd like the group to develop a capacity to coach and mentor each other so that they resolve their own problems. I don't mind putting my nose in it because I'm trained to do that, but you guys are pretty smart. And I think that by leaving you with a call per month and your physical reports, I think it should be remarkable how fast improvement will occur.
And also, about the dates, will we all have a little bit of input on that?
After session 1, you bring your calendar. It's your group. I can't say this more strongly. I really want the groups to become self-generating, self-governing, coaching, enhancing each other's ability to have their vision and mission realized. I want to work myself out of a job. I want you to have the capacity. I want you to say, thanks for sharing, Mark, but get off the line. That's my dream. And you can. You'll be learning how to coach. Because a CEO doesn't tell people, he coaches people. That's part of the influence you're going to learn how to do. All right, so what's going to happen from here is Chris is going to send out an email, and he's going to tell you how to register. And from that registration, we will know how many participants we have. Then we will send a follow-up letter and let you know what's going on. And, those of you who have partners, we have audio recorded this evening. And after Chris cleans up my PowerPoint, because he probably sees all the typos I have, he will be sending you the PowerPoint as well. So you will have the audio of tonight, you'll have the PowerPoint from tonight, and you'll be asked to register. And if you don't, I want to thank you for your time because I know how valuable it is. I know you are really committed to having a great business of dentistry, and I appreciate that. And I would love to see you all on board. Okay, everybody, I think that should do it. So good night, everybody.
Thank you for your interest in the Dentist Entrepreneur Organization. For more information, call us at 425-806-8830. Thank you very much.